What's up? What's happening? What is going on, Cantaloupes? Many of the most dominant sports teams from the 2000s remain decently dominant today. Of course, immediately we think of the Patriots and Spurs. On the flip side, many of the worst teams from the 2000s also remain terrible today. These are the 10 worst sports teams of the 2000s, and a huge shout out to Amiri Copeland for suggesting this video. Number 10, the Charlotte Bobcats. The Bobcats franchise didn't come into existence until the 2004 season, so we ranked them lower since they didn't really have to play out the whole decade. But still, they were awful. Their first season in the NBA ended with 18 wins. The Bobcats didn't win more than 35 games in a season during the 2000s. They were so bad that they ended up changing their own damn name. Number 9, the Houston Texans. We could have ranked the Texans higher, but again, they weren't a team till 2002, and since expansion teams usually suck for a while, we had to cut them some slack. Drafting David Carr in 2002 was the beginning of a frustrating decade. From 2002 to 2006, the Texans won a total of just 24 games. That included 2 wins in 2005, but hey, they finished out the decade decently, 9 victories in 2009. They're figuring it out little by little, decade by decade. Number 8, the Cleveland Browns. The Browns had some okay years. They did make the playoffs in 2002 after winning 9 games, and in 2007 they went 10-6 and just barely missed out on a trip to the playoffs. But other than that, the Browns were tough to watch. They lost double-digit games 7 times, courtesy of really, really bad drafting. And yes, they seemingly had 3 different quarterbacks every year. If anything, the Browns have actually gotten a lot worse in the 2010s so far. Number 7, the Los Angeles Clippers. Though the Clippers have been one of the most consistent teams in the 2010s, the previous decade was far from friendly to their fans. With the exception of a 47-win season in 2006, it was nothing but losing seasons for LA. In the 2000s, it included a 15-win season in 2000. Number 6, the Atlanta Thrashers. The Thrashers were so bad that nobody watched their games, and it's a huge reason as to why they relocated to Winnipeg. With the exception of a 2007 Southeast Division title and postseason berth, Atlanta was simply one of those teams that nobody really knew existed. They had just 39 points in 2000, 60 in 2001. They were constantly a bottom 10 team in the NHL. It's no surprise that they relocated. Number 5, the Golden State Warriors. Here's one team that turned their fortunes around. Basketball fans remember the 8th-seeded Warriors taking down the Dallas Mavericks in the 2007 playoffs. That was arguably the biggest upset in NBA history, but other than that, not much fun at all. The Warriors only had 2 winning years. As good as Baron Davis and Jason Richardson were, the Warriors couldn't materialize. They won 21 games or less in 3 seasons, but hey, that helped them load up on high draft picks to eventually win championships. Number 4, the Kansas City Royals. The Royals went 29 years without making the playoffs. They were disgusting in the 2000s. Low market team, no financial resources to sign star players. Drafting stars wasn't as easy back then. The Royals weren't just bad, they were horrible. They posted 4 100-game losing seasons, and they only reached the 70-win mark once. The Royals also finished last in their division 5 times. They were, without a doubt, the laughingstock of the MLB. Number 3, the Florida Panthers. I'm glad I started watching hockey and became a Panthers fan in the 2010s. The Panthers made the playoffs in 2000, a nice start to the decade, but not a sign of what was to come. The Panthers never came close to the playoffs year in and year out again. They kept picking in the top 5, but wasted most of those selections. They had a 12-year playoff drought until it finally ended in 2012, but in the 2000s, it was just pure confusion. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills were one of the top teams in the 90s. They reached 4 straight Super Bowls, yet lost them all. Nonetheless, they were a consistently dominant team in those 90s. In the 2000s, they were a consistently terrible team. They ended their playoff drought in 2018, but the Bills hadn't made the playoffs since 1999 before that. They used coach after coach after coach, quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, and the results stayed the same. Besides a 9-win season in 2004, the Bills were awful, and they closed out the decade with 5 straight losing seasons. Number 1, the Pittsburgh Pirates. From 93 to 2012, the Pirates had a losing season every year. Literally just look at this win column from each year. In the arms of the angel. On the bright side, the 2010s came along and the Pirates reached the postseason in 2013, 14, and 15. Bad news, they suck again. Who were some other terrible sports teams in the 2000s? Let me know down in the comments below. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your day is going. It's important for me to know. Welcome. If you're new, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Until next time, I'm Mike Cantalupo. Thanks for watching.